Hidden high above the California desert is a forgotten world. Reaching it means climbing nearly 12,000 feet on a dangerous mountain road. But beyond the cliffs and switchbacks is a place few people ever see. An old stone cabin clinging to the mountainside.
Well, this is going to be home for the night. We're staying in the town of Belfort.
So come along as we chase a forgotten piece of the American West.
Well, it became very quiet outside. Almost a little too quiet.
Exploring century-old ruins.
This cabin is just an incredible display of human ingenuity.
And driving one of the craziest roads I've ever seen in my life.
It's absolutely mind-boggling that you can drive up to the summit of this mountain.
This is Tiny Cabin Life.
You guys aren't gonna believe how I got myself and this rig out here today. I've got a whole moving truck here and it's hilarious. I was supposed to have a pickup truck, but really all I needed was a trailer hitch with a 2-inch ball. And yeah, I got this box truck.
I'm heading up into the Sweetwater Mountains, one of the lesser known mountain ranges here on the Eastern Sierra. I'll be traveling in this side-by-side on one of the craziest roads around, reaching heights of almost 12,000 feet. But the true goal of this trip is to reach this old stone miner's cabin that sits just under the summit. Oh yeah, and I'm out here on the California-Nevada border for a family reunion and was fortunate enough to take some time at the end of the trip to do this adventure, which I'm very grateful for.
Now, it is a little sad that I don't have Ellie with me on this one. I have the full front seat open. She would have totally been able to come out, but unfortunately we had to fly out here for this family reunion, and so she's back at home at my mom's place hanging out with crazy cousin Louie, and we're gonna get back to her in just a few days.
My plan for this afternoon is to at least climb up to the ghost town of Belfort, which sits at an elevation of 10,200 feet.
One thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is that these side-by-sides take bumps like it's nothing. You go over some of these bumps with a four-wheeler like mine, you're gonna feel it. But with this thing, you just kind of flow right over it. It's incredible.
The Sweetwater Mountains are one of California's least known mountain ranges, yet they're one of the most rugged and historically rich in the entire Eastern Sierra. They receive very few visitors because there are no paved roads in the entire mountain range. And their isolation is one of the reasons why many historic mining sites and ghost towns are still relatively intact.
So this is where we're headed. Mount Patterson, or Mars with flowers. It's really supposed to be very, very unique up there. We're at Star City, which is an old mining town. We're gonna get out and explore that a little bit, but eventually we're gonna continue onward toward Belfort, and that's like a full-on ghost town with old remaining structures like cabins and other things, and that's where we're gonna spend the night tonight. Not a ton remains of Star City, but there are some foundations to some old cabins and some of the mining operation here, so that's what we're looking for. Oh man, yeah. This is a big structure. This is definitely a part of the mine because this foundation is huge, way too big to be a cabin.
Like many boom towns of the Old West, Star City began as little more than a collection of tents scattered across the mountainside. But the town really took off in 1878 when James H. Patterson and Anthony Hyatt discovered a rich gold and silver deposit. But one of the coolest facts about this town is that the road we are climbing up towards Belfort and Mount Patterson was built in the 1870s to reach these mines and others above Star City. So the route that we're traveling today was largely established by miners 150 years ago.
All right, let's get to this ghost town. Gonna be home for the night. We're staying in the town of Belfort, founded in 1880 at 10,200 feet of elevation. That is pretty incredible. And the fact that we still have structures here that are still standing after well over 100 years is truly remarkable. It really speaks to how well those miners built these cabins. And if you think about it, they really had to. At this high of elevation, these cabins had to withstand wind and rain and snow and just the brutal conditions that come with being way up in the Alpine. And so while you would think this type of environment would destroy this place, it's actually probably the reason why we can still see the structures to this day, because they had to be built to last. As you can see, we've got the gables down here, and the roof joist is still standing up there. You got to be really careful when you're exploring old cabin foundations like this, especially out west, because rattlesnakes tend to like to hang out along the walls here, or just anywhere where there's some cover. And so they could be hiding out here, so I really got to watch my step. You've got just an incredible view out this window. In fact, it's of the summit of Mount Patterson, which if you were living in this cabin, what a beautiful view to wake up to. And I'm pretty excited that we're going to be waking up to that view tomorrow. Wow, now this is a nice cabin. It's cool to see that the roof here is still somewhat intact. And you can see that whoever owned this cabin had a little back door. Where that led, who knows? Maybe out to a fire ring or some sort of a workshop, or maybe even a stable where he kept his horses. Either way, he had a pretty sweet spot here. Hard living for sure, but man, beautiful cabin. Oh man, take a look at this one. Now this is what I think of when I picture a miner's cabin. They were usually pretty small like this, just very basic. And this one definitely was. You can see it was sunken in to the landscape. And so when these walls stood up, they were probably taller and just tall enough to get in there and maybe stand up. But other than that, it was pretty small.
Well, believe it or not, it was already approaching sunset, so I found a little spot inside the town to set up my camp.
This tent seems really great. It's a tunnel tent, so it kind of folds out accordion style once you get one end staked down. So as you can see, I've got a very simple setup on this trip. Just a sleeping pad, sleeping bag, and a pillow. I did bring my lantern, however, so we'll have some nice lighting inside at night, but I wanted to go as low-key as possible, especially because I had to fly out here with all my gear. This is a hot tent as well, so you've got a stove jack, which will be really cool if we end up using this in the winter. I'm sure we will. And then this whole other side is open for firewood, you know, the stove, and certainly gear. If you've got gear, you've got a lot of room to store it on the other side of the tent. I love this little propane fireball. I've actually only used it one time before, and I was in the Florida Keys out on a floating cabin. It's allowing us to sit here by a beautiful fire and not have to worry one bit about it getting out of control.
For dinner tonight, I'm whipping up one of my classic backcountry meals, just some pasta. It uses all shelf-stable ingredients and is really, really good, especially when you don't have access to a cooler or refrigerator.
Keep me safe overnight. It's in your name I pray, Jesus. Amen. Oh yeah, that hits the spot. The trick is adding the meat, and what I love about it is it's shelf stable, so it's really great for backpacking or anytime you don't have access to a cooler or fridge.
Well, the sun had set over the mountainside, and darkness was quickly overtaking our little town here.
Well, it became very still and quiet outside, almost a little too quiet. It's crazy to be camped out in a ghost town. I've only actually done this once before in my life. But it's really, really cool. And yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, especially getting up to that cabin. I think that's just going to be the coolest thing ever. So I'm going to be getting up literally at the crack of dawn. So definitely want to get some sleep. So we'll see you first thing in the morning. Good night. Good morning. We've got first light out there. I think the sun is gonna start rising up over the mountains in maybe 20 minutes. So we're in good shape to get out of here and get up to the summit at a very good time. It's been a while since I've used one of these old school sleeping bags. This is what I always used as a kid. The type that you have to like roll up, and they were always hard to roll up. This one's not so bad.
sunrise cast just the most beautiful color over the mountains. And that beauty was quite fitting because today is a very special day.
Guys, so this is the crux of the entire trip right here, getting to the summit. The trail's gonna get a lot steeper, it's gonna get probably rockier, and there's gonna be some major exposure. I definitely think I'm ready for it. I've got a good feel for this machine, and at the end of the day, it is a road. So if I stick to the road, we're gonna be in good shape, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we got up there at the summit. What I know about this last section of trail is that there are a lot of these sharp turns, which these side-by-sides don't really like. So you sometimes have to stop and back up a little bit to be able to take the turn. Whoa! Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I think from here we're gonna start making our way up towards the summit. It's gonna get more interesting. In our family, summertime is road trip season, whether we're heading out west or cruising around the North Woods. My go-to power station this summer is the Bluetti Elite 300. This thing is an absolute beast, and it comes in a very compact package as well. The Elite 300 is the lightest, most compact 3,000 watt-hour power station yet. Whether I'm charging cameras, doing work in the morning, or powering some of my favorite toys here, the Elite 300 is not only up to the task, but it allows me to do more than ever before. On our last road trip, we actually used the Elite 300 to power this entire cabin. I also use it to power my satellite internet so that I can always stay in touch when I'm off grid. And one of the coolest things I've ever done was actually strap it to a four-wheeler and take it way up into the Rocky Mountains of Montana. One of the most important uses for the Elite 300 is powering our portable refrigerator. That way we always have milk and other necessities for our kids when we're out on the road. But I will also use it to charge my e-bike here, and you guys know how much I love my little raft. Well, I will actually use the trickle charger from the Elite 300 to charge up my battery here so I can use my trolling motor whenever I need it. And it's great for people with RVs as well. You've got the TT30R AC output as well as a 12-volt 3A DC output for your high-powered onboard AC, fridge, or lights. If you're charging it up on an AC outlet, it'll only take 2 hours, but you can also use solar or car charging, which is especially nice if you've got the Bluetti charger too, which allows fast charging out on the road. If you're planning any summer road trips, camping, or RV adventures, Bluetti is currently running special summer bundle discounts. Definitely check out the link in the description of this video to sign up for exclusive perks, as well as enter for a chance to win a Bluetti Elite 30 V2. Final push up to the summit here. We made it! 11,600 some feet. I don't have the exact number in my head, but we are very, very high up. is this cool. It's absolutely mind-boggling that you can drive up to the summit of this mountain. Again, we're at over 11,600 feet in elevation. We're way up in the alpine, far beyond tree line, and it's a whole other world up here. When they say Mars with flowers, they definitely hit it on the head, but it also feels like the moon, you know, especially riding around in that thing. It's basically your little moon cruiser. The view up here is absolutely astounding. We can see for easily over 100 miles. Not only are we towering above the Sweetwater range here, we can see all the different peaks, but we also have an incredible view of the Sierra Nevada mountains. They're just the most beautiful, rugged, rocky, and jagged peaks, and man, oh man, do we get a great view of them from up here. Hey guys, I just want to share that right now, as I stand up here, it's 1 year to this moment, to the day that my dad passed away, and I can't think of a more fitting place to be right now. He would be and is so proud of what I'm doing and of my family and just, I don't really have words for it, but I wanted to be real with you guys and just and let you know that this is an extra special day, or an extra sad day in a way, but it's also happy because we know he's in heaven. So I just miss him a lot, and know that he's smiling down right now. Anyway, what a cool place to be. I think it's about time we head down to the cabin and have some breakfast and coffee. So the cabin is just below the summit off of a little spur trail. Should be fairly easy to find, but we'll find out shortly, I guess. Here it is. The stone cabin on Mount Patterson is one of the most unique historic shelters in California. It was built by a man named Guy Montague between 1937 and 1939 after he acquired the mine up here. It's made of stone because we're way above tree line, so you couldn't make it out of logs. So he used the existing materials that he had available. His mining operation was unfortunately shut down during World War II when the federal government ceased all non-essential gold mining.
Sadly, the mine never reopened afterward.
This cabin is just an incredible display of human ingenuity to be able to build out of stones that he found up here on the mountain. And what's incredible is the fact that it is still standing to this day. And just like the cabins down in Belfort, this was made to withstand the harsh weather that you have up here on the summit. The rock is what really allowed it to be able to last through the winter and the heavy wind that you get up here near the summit. It's really nice to see that people are taking care of this place. You can see that supports have been put in to preserve the structure of the cabin. I'm also impressed by the lack of litter or graffiti, generally speaking, that you have here in the cabin. There are a few people that have etched their names in the wood, but for the most part, people have just left it the way that it is, and that's really, really cool. Well, I'm hungry and ready for some coffee, so what do you say we make some breakfast right out front? All right, so to say that I'm making breakfast is a little misleading. I'm going with a good old-fashioned backpacker's dehydrated meal. We've got a good old-fashioned breakfast skillet here. I see some eggs, some potatoes, peppers, onions, and I think there's even some sausage in there. It's a freeze-dried meal, yes, but I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty good. These meals take a little bit to rehydrate, so we're gonna get that going first, and then we'll make some coffee while we're waiting. Well, the coffee tastes good, but adding the cold water to the top did not make those grounds drop to the bottom of the pan. It's very, very crunchy coffee. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, and being able to sit here and have a cup of joe where old Guy Montague probably did himself, it's an honor. All right, let's give it a try. Got a big scoop of egg, potatoes, sausage. I see some peppers in there. It's decent. I'm not gonna give this my normal, so good or so delicious seal of approval. It gets a passing grade. Definitely tastes like, powdered eggs that you would get at a hotel. It's just fine. Being out in the middle of nowhere, you kind of take what you can get, and this is gonna get the job done.
Now with breakfast out of the way, it was time to bid farewell to the stone cabin and head over the mountain to the other side of the range. There's a creek and a reservoir over there, and I'd love to try to catch some trout and do a catch and cook before this trip comes to an end.
All right, we are officially heading down over the other side of the mountain.
Just a few days ago during our family reunion, I caught a monster trout and another one that was a very good size. We kept them, cleaned them, and ate them, and I'd love to do it again here today before we have to head back to the truck.
You look straight out there, that is our lake. That's beautiful. They have not only trout in there, but they also have Arctic grayling, which is really cool. So if we don't get any fish in the creek, we could always try to fish the lake, which would be pretty fun as well. Seems very shallow. Definitely not ideal for fishing, that's for sure, at least back there. Water level seems pretty low. I think I'll pull over up here. We can get out and explore it. See if there are any pools. Otherwise, I think we might have to head to the lake. Ooh, that's a pool back there. It's definitely worth a shot. I mean, we're here. Might as well try it. He's just a little rainbow trout. I'm gonna put him back in. This one's a brook trout, and you can tell because he's got those nice spots. They're really, really pretty. I'm gonna put him back too. Well, this creek definitely has some fish in it. We got a rainbow and a brookie. I'm just afraid that the pools are gonna be so small that we won't catch anything that we could eat, you know? So I wonder if it's worth heading over to the lake and seeing if we can have better luck over there. It's very windy. I'm not sure we'll have any luck fishing, but we'll give it a shot, and it'll be nice to at least head down to the lake.
Lobdell Lake here marks the transition from the sagebrush desert into the alpine country of the Sweetwater Mountains. It sits at about 9,200 feet in elevation, which is still pretty high up. And as I mentioned before, it's actually a reservoir which was created in 1948 by damming Desert Creek, which we were just fishing on.
Oh, he came off right at the last second. Dang. That one. Oh! That one got away too. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing them right at the last second.
Well, the wind just continued to pick up, and after losing a couple fish and trying a few more times, I decided that it was time to head back up over the mountain and on towards the truck.
Showing high temperature readings right now. Yeah, if you look, you can see that the engine is overheating. We're gonna go downhill from here. It probably would cool off on its own, but I think I'm gonna shut it off for now and give it a minute. Really no place like the mountains. You just have a way of inspiring and humbling you all at the same time. It's always a meaningful experience. It's definitely extra special today on the anniversary of my dad's passing. this thing has cooled off. Yes, it did. All right, let's get this thing out of the mountains and back to the U-Haul. Well, that's going to do it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for coming along. This was a fun one. I had such a blast riding that thing up into the mountains, and not just into the mountains, but going up and over a mountain at 11,600 feet. That was such a surreal experience, and it truly was something that I will never forget. As always, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons who generously donate to this channel, but again, to all of you who watch, comment, subscribe. You're all the reason that we get to do this on a weekly basis, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. But for now, it's time for me to load everything up so I can get back to town and see the girls. We'll see you next week. God bless.